Hi, hello, welcome back. If you happen to find yourself on the internets today, then my name is Ella. This is my channel where I talk a lot and edit badly. And today is the second part of my wrap-up where I talk about all of the horrors and thrillers and mysteries I've read because it's spooky, scary February.
Spooky, scary February.
And I decided I don't like romance. I just want to read about a bunch of people killing each other, so fun, and I'm going to talk about that now. So, if you feel so inclined, or if you like my content, you can like and subscribe and stuff. And once I get to 30 subscribers, I will be selling my soul. So, and if you are interested in knowing about the fantasy, romance, literary fiction, or YA contemporary I read, go check out my other video, definitely, because I have weird reading tastes. But one thing that stays constant is my love for mysteries and thrillers, so let's get into that with The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. Now, I don't know how to pronounce any of the last names in this video, so you're just going to have to trust me that this is not how they're pronounced. This book, the vibes of this book. Oh my god, I loved it. It was like this old manor, and it was all these like old rich people, and and I loved it. It was so great. I love anything that's like an old-fashioned mystery where it's like the butler did it. Like, I just love it. And the vibes. And this book had all of the vibes. It's about this dude who has to solve the murder, the death of Evelyn Hardcastle. And every day he wakes up in the body of a different guest, and he has to solve it in 7 days a week. Yeah, that makes sense. Or else he has to start all over back at the beginning. He was so convoluted in the most perfect way possible. And also, this book featured a plague doctor as one of the main characters, and we need more plague doctors in literature. Here's my plague doctor mask. I can't wear this for the rest of the video because I can't actually breathe in it, but like just know that it exists, and that's why it's hanging on my doorknob. Yes, I gave this book a 4-star. I really loved it. It was super entertaining. It like gripped me all the way. That's such a weird way to put it, but yes, I adored it. Next. Okay. Next I read Clan in a Cornfield by Adam. I cannot pronounce his last name to save my life. How do you pronounce that? I'm so sorry. It looks easy, but it isn't. It isn't. I'm confused. So this is basically a retro slasher in a book. It follows this girl named something who moves to this new town that's very like divided between the youth and the elderly, or just the older people. And she goes to a party, and then homicidal clowns start attacking. It's perfect. It was a perfect, fun read. It was very slow at the beginning, but it literally followed the exact pacing of like an 80s slasher. And I find slasher movies extremely entertaining. They're not my favorite movies, but like the body count in this book, it had everything. It had everything. It had chainsaws. It had like fire. It had old truck drivers. Because it's like a very like farm, cornfieldy town. It was so great. It was so great. I mean, did the ending kind of make no sense? Yes. But what ending of a slasher movie makes sense? I just had so much fun reading this. Also, I predicted something in this book, and it was correct at the end. And you have to understand, I am notoriously terrible at guessing plot twists. And while I did not guess a plot twist, I guessed that 2 characters were in a relationship, and they were, and I knew it. I just knew it, okay? So maybe I can't guess plot twists, but maybe I'm a great matchmaker. I don't know. So that's Cloud in the Cornfield by Adam. I cannot pronounce your last name. Next we have Darling Rose Gold by Stephanie Warble, maybe? And it's like a Munchausen by proxy story, and I found it extremely forgettable. It's about this girl named Rose Gold who has, her mother has told her she was sick her entire life, and it's dual timelines between right after her mother got arrested from Rose Gold's perspective, and then her mother's perspective 5 years later when she gets out of jail. And it was okay. It was interesting. I found it very predictable. Like, I knew everything that was going to happen, but I don't think it was exactly trying to be, like, twisty-turny. But yeah, I don't know. That's it. I don't really have an opinion on this one. I gave it 3 stars. I gave most of these 3 stars. But yeah, forgettable, but fun. So I do recommend it if you're looking for a fun time. I listened to it in one day. Next, I read and have very complicated feelings, but also no feelings, on The Silent Patient by, I'm so sorry, Alex Nikolides? Nikolides? That does not seem wrong. Okay. This is about a dude who is a psychologist, and he's really obsessed with this one lady who killed her husband and has not spoken a word since. So he gets a job just so he can be her psychotherapist. Yeah, I call this the Walmart Gone Girl. I compare them in my If You Like This, Then Read This video, so definitely, go watch that one. But, I love Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, and this book is just like Walmart Gone Girl. There's diary entries, there's, the domestic thriller part of it, I was about to spoil both of these books in one. I always do that. I accidentally always say something that would spoil the entire book. But just trust me on this one. The ending got me. I was shocked by it, but I almost feel like it would be better without it. It left a lot of plot holes. I was very confused. It also just wasn't satisfying. I wrote in my notes, I started to realize that all thrillers are exactly the same. And you know what? I still stand by this. Yes, I love thrillers, but they are all extremely similar. Because there's only so many ways you can murder your husband, Next is a book that I also have opinions on, and that is Undercurrents by Nora Roberts. I gave this one a 2-star. I had no idea what I was getting into with this book. There was a section in my library's Overdrive account. It's winter thrills and chills. So I thought that this would be a classic thriller. It had my favorite trope, which is rich family on a lake house, which is a very underrated trope. But this book, I don't even know if I call it a thriller. This book is about abuse, all types of abuse, and it is extremely triggering. So if you want to go read this, here's a trigger warning right now. It's very, it does not hold back. But besides that, I really couldn't tell you what this book was about. This book was so long, and it did not have a concise plotline. It had about 5 different plot lines, and each time one would end, I would oh, the book's over. But it'd keep going. And I was getting very confused. Well, not confused about the plot, confused about why this book was still going. I didn't care about any of the characters besides having sympathy for them and the situations they were in. Honestly, I found them all kind of annoying. There was this one plotline I was really excited about because I thought we were going to get a serial killer, but we didn't. It actually got resolved in 50 pages, and I was so disappointed. I was why am I even reading this? The ending was pretty shocking. I did not see that coming, but again, this book had 50 different plot lines, and did I really see any of them coming? No. And how many did I really care about them? How many did I really care about? 4 out of 60? Or more 1 out of 5, because that's probably the actual amount. Yeah, so Next, I read Misery by Stephen King, and I read a couple of books by Stephen King. I read Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining, and then The Mist, which is a novella. I really liked Carrie. I really liked The Shining. I did not like The Mist that much, and I have very complicated feelings on Salem's Lot. It was really weird, but like not really in a good way. to me, these are all my opinions. But I really, really enjoyed Misery. I was surprised. I think maybe it's because we were following a cast of two characters instead of his usual 3,464. Um, but yeah, the writing was a lot more concise than I remember. Like, it was a lot more clear, and I really, liked Paul better than a lot of his other protagonists, although it was very, male saviory. Like, the way this book treats mental illness and women is not the most flattering, but I mean, you kind of have to expect that with a Stephen King book written in the 80s. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing or it should be brushed aside, but what's done is done. I haven't read any of his newer stuff, so I don't know if it's like that now. I'm guessing not. I hope not. But I gave this book a 4 because I was really into it. I was really into the plot. It's about this writer who gets in a car crash and he gets taken in by his number one fan named Annie. And she is insane. And it's very interesting. That's it. Next we have The Woman in the Window. And this book I thought was extremely boring until the last, 2/10 when it got really fun and twisty. But the first, at least half of the book was just, this woman does not go outside, she drinks a lot of wine, she should not be, and she really likes old movies. And it really drilled that into your head. Like, it was like, she stays inside, she drinks wine, and she likes old movies, and you are going to know that. And honestly, I still haven't forgotten, so... This book, the plot twist had me, shook. And I think that's really sad, because I think it's a really easy to guess plot twist. But I was still super surprised by it. I had no idea it was coming. My mouth was hanging open. I was like... Then there was, a lot of villain monologuing. And I was like, we get it. We get it, you're the bad guy. But I did have, my theory on this was actually correct. So I didn't, guess the huge plot twist, but my theory was a part of the huge plot twist. And I was very impressed with myself because it never happens. And it happened. The plot twist did make me very sad, though. It's not how I wanted it to end. It was kind of depressing. I was like, wow, that's sad. It was a well-constructed twist, but sad. And I'm talking about the end plot twist, because there are a couple of plot twists in here. And I felt like, for the most part, they were pretty good. Because you're wondering, oh, did this woman actually see someone get stabbed out of her window, or is it just all inside of her head? And they did a pretty good job at doing that, but, I mean, come on. You have to know which one it is, right? It's a thriller book. That's probably a spoiler, don't at me. So the last book I read this month was An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Liked this book okay. Gave it a 3-star. I also gave The Woman in the Window 3-star, in case you were wondering. I thought this book was very okay. It did not get as dark as I wanted it to, or as, twisted or as convoluted as I wanted it to. It's about this woman who goes to see a psychologist and gets involved in one of her experiments, and it gets more twisted and deep and personal, but not nearly enough. I am sick and tired of this cheating makes women go crazy trope. That's really gonna be your only personality? I mean, come on. Like, at least when it happened in Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, like, Marcella destroyed an entire city. What did the woman in this book do? I don't know. Yeah, this book honestly bored me. Like, maybe I'd actually give it 2 stars, but sometimes I feel bad because I feel like not a lot of people like this book. But I really did not have that good of a time. So I don't know. I don't know. When do I ever know anything on this channel? That is the question. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Yep, have a nice day. Bye.